And we are live. Welcome to the NBA Strategy Show. It is Monday, April 21st. I am Josh Engleman, here to break down just a two-game slate. We got the Pistons, 6.5-point dogs in New York, taking on the Knicks. We've got the Clippers, 1.5-point favorites in Denver, 218 total. Obviously, Knicks picked up game one. Nuggets picked up game one. But here we are for a double game two. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you know when everything goes live. Follow me on Twitter at Josh Engleman. We're going to be heavily focused on the top 10 for today because it's a two-game slate. You kind of just got to get it right. Like, there's not a lot of wiggle room. There's no, like, oh, I can get this other guy that's no, you're gonna just have to be, you're just gonna have to get basically the best 8 guys. And that's what we're gonna do right now. Raphael, did I watch Cody Cena last night? No, I did not. I can't be watching WrestleMania. So let's talk about Detroit first. We'll hit DraftKings. We'll hit FanDuel. We're going to dig into each one of these guys individually. We're going to start with Asar Thompson. 4,500, small forward, power forward eligible. 5.6x value. 48% optimal. 44% owned. On FanDuel, he's 6,100. Just remember this. Asar Thompson is $1,600 more expensive on FanDuel. Now, he's still in the top 10 on FanDuel. However, DraftKings, he's basically free. Now, let's talk through Asar Thompson from game one. Because you would look at his rotation and think, well, okay, that didn't go the way that we wanted it to. Played 23 minutes. However, Asar Thompson picked up 2 fouls in the first 2 minutes and 38 seconds of the game. Then he got a normal-ish rotation in the second quarter. I think they were probably trying to, save him from grabbing any fouls late. Third quarter, fine. He picked up a foul, but normal rotation. Staggered in the fourth, picked up a 4th foul, and then closed. I think we likely saw Asar Thompson lose a couple minutes in the first quarter. So we got him in for 25 minutes here. He's in 63% of my stuff. He ranks second in the boom bust tool on the DraftKings side. He looks incredible to me. Obviously he can get in foul trouble again, but he's a fantasy point per minute guy. I think they want him out there for defensive purposes, to try to hound Jalen Brunson. So as long as he stays out of foul trouble, I think he's just going to play a couple extra minutes. And if he's playing a couple extra minutes, 4,500 is a broken price tag. So Asar Thompson is a big time priority for me on DraftKings. He looks great on FanDuel, like 6,100, 1.05 fantasy points per minute, 40% optimal, 35% owned. Asar Thompson still looks really good on FanDuel, but the price tag on DraftKings makes him look completely different. Your second best guy for Detroit on the DraftKings side is going to be Cade Cunningham, 9,100, point guard only, 1.3 fantasy points per minute, 40% optimal, 44% owned. Now he's 10,300 on FanDuel. So I'm not sure if you're noticing, but the theme of this one is the Pistons are a lot more expensive on FanDuel. Cade Cunningham is $1,200 more expensive on FanDuel. He ranks 21st. He's 23% owned. I don't really like him there. Now on DraftKings, I'm not getting a lot of him. I have 29% of a 44% owned guy, but he does rank third and he does look good. Cade played 39 minutes in game one. Obviously he's going to pace for 40 one way or the other. And it's not that I don't like him. I don't like the matchup for him Anytime that you're getting a steady dose of OG Anunoby, of Mikal Bridges, of Josh Hart, like that's tough sledding on the perimeter. So I don't mind being under the field. I don't think the Pistons win this game. I'm certainly much more on the side of the Knicks. What do you guys want to do here with Cade? Because he grades out pretty well, but I'm not really getting there. Do you guys like Cade today? Because we got to remember, you got Cade at 9,100. You got Brunson at 8,300 on the opposite side of this game. Pierre Hines with the super chat said, turned $100 into 537 yesterday. Thanks for all the help and info. Pierre, love to see it, man. The old 5X day. Love it. Love it. Like, obviously, if you're playing multiple lineups, like if you're in a 20 max today, you're getting Cade, clearly. But I'm not sure he's a guy that I'm going to be with the field or over the field on. Where would I spend the Cade money? Well, we will get there in a bit, but Nikola Jokic is my answer. I have all of the Jokic. But I'm a little light on Cade. The guy that I have the most of right now from Detroit that isn't Asar Thompson is Dennis Schroeder. 4K, point guard, shooting guard eligible. Schroeder played 26 minutes. Here's the really interesting part. Schroeder played 26 minutes in game one, and he wasn't really a huge part of the ass beating they took in the fourth. When they blew the lead, they basically blew the lead once he came off the floor. Tim Hardaway Jr. subbed in for Schroeder, and the Knicks went on an 11-0 run, and then they sub Schroeder back in. So, one, we got his 26 minutes. Two, it looked like they wanted to close with him. Now, that I find very interesting. The other interesting piece is, one, the status of Isaiah Stewart. Do they want to close with a center? Up in the air. But for Schroeder, we got him in for 23 minutes. He's 29% optimal, 29% owned. He's in 37% of my lineups. One, I think he could play a little bit more than he did. Two, he's not like the worst per minute guy. He's got a solid price tag. He's got a really nice positional MPE. I think Dennis Schroeder is the best guy that you can get to for Detroit that isn't Asar Thompson. What do you guys think about my boy Schroeder here? Similarly, on FanDuel, Schroeder is $1,100 more expensive. He's $5,100. I mean, look at these salaries. Tim Hardaway Jr. is actually $200 more expensive. Asar is $1,600. Obviously, Cade is $1,200. Tobias Harris is only $200. That's probably why he's the number one play on FanDuel, and we'll get to him in a bit. Jalen Duren is $900 more expensive on FanDuel. Malik Beasley's $300. Schroeder is $1,100. Beef Stew is $1,000. One thing I wanted to point out, Ron Holland only played in the first half. He played at the end of the first quarter, beginning of the second quarter, didn't play the second half. Simone Fontecchio didn't play at all. Now, he hasn't been great so far this season. I thought they would use him in this series. He kind of fits, but just a reminder, he was not a part of the rotation in the opener. I think that Beef Stew is a guy that we want to have a conversation about on DraftKings. He's 3,700 center only, but I think they need beef stew in this series more than they need Jalen Duren. Now, whether or not they get to that, I don't know. Beef stew played 19 minutes and only left because he got hurt. But Beef Stew is a better defensive player than Jalen Duren. He's a much better rim protector than Jalen Duren. And I wonder if they try to go to him a little bit more to get a little bit more spacing on the floor. Right now, Beef Stew is only 15% owned. We have him 16% optimal. I have him in for 19 minutes. I do think he could play upwards of 22, 23, ignoring Jalen Duren like foul trouble situations. But I find Beef Stew to be kind of sneaky today. I kind of like some of these bench pieces for the Pistons. And then we get to Malik Beasley. Beasley played 35 minutes. He checked in the middle of the third quarter, never left the floor again, played the entire fourth quarter. You're expecting north of 30 minutes. You're expecting him to take every single shot he can find from three. I mean, Malik Beasley just lets it sail. Anytime he has even a sliver of a look, that dude's shooting. He got up 11.8 threes per 75 possessions this year. That's 99th percentile. I mean, he's going to get threes up. Now, I'm not so sure I love that in the playoffs. It's highly variant. And I think that when you look at the boom score on Malik Beasley, I think it's really telling if you compare him to Asar Thompson. And I think it explains a lot about like the style of player you're getting. Because yes, like Malik Beasley is going to get offensive opportunities. He's going to shoot his threes. And when he's shooting 11 or 12 threes a game, there's going to be days where it's just like, holy shit, a lot of those went in. We need him. But his boom score is 10% at 5,300. Asar Thompson's is 25. Because Asar Thompson's going to get there a little bit with points, with rebounds, with assists. He's going to get there with stocks. So you can get a much wider set of bars for Asar Thompson than you do for Malik Beasley. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm a little lighter on Beasley, but I'm a little bit heavier on Asar Thompson right here. Now, Duren, I'm nervous about, but I think you're just getting there a little bit. You know, he's a double-double guy. He's 6,100. He should play 26, 27 minutes. Could play more if it's going well. He's 30% optimal. He's 30% owned. I don't have a lot to say about Jalen Duren. He's just a guy for me today. Now, Tobias Harris is a very different guy depending on which site we're talking about. 6,200 on the DraftKings side. Power forward only. 30% optimal. 30% owned. I don't think it's anything interesting. Like, he's like Duren. He's just a 30% guy. There's a lot of guys that are going to be on this slate where it's a 2-game slate. So you play everybody if you're playing multiple lineups. But some guys just don't look like they matter. And that's kind of how I feel about Tobias Harris on DraftKings. Tobias Harris on FanDuel, however, completely different situation. He's the number one play in our data because, one, he's got an MPE. It's not just power forward like it is on DraftKings. It's small forward, power forward. He's only $300 more expensive. It's not like the rest of these guys where they're all like $1,000. So you're 6,400, you're small forward, power forward eligible, 55% optimal, 59% owned, number one guy in the boom bust tool. If you're playing on FanDuel, Tobias Harris is a very different guy. He's your top play of the day. So I know nobody ever wants to play Tobias Harris. I know nobody wants to play Tobias Harris the game after he has a monster scoring day. But on FanDuel, you're going straight back to it. Now, beef stew is $1,000 more expensive. You get the power forward eligibility, but the value isn't the same. I still like him for sure, but not in the same way. Beasley's still good here. Schroeder's still good here. But that's the Pistons. That's the Pistons. Do we have any Pistons bets? We do have Pistons bets. It's always fun. BetMGM, 14 odd shopper rating, 6% EV. Tim Hardaway Jr. under 11.5 points. Yo, I like that one just in general. Not even, that has nothing to do with the fact that the model likes it. Beef stew, under 5.5 rebounds. Now that one I don't like. 3% EV, 4 odd shopper rating. Still a quality bet. You should take it, but I actually like the Tim Hardaway one. But yeah, that's the Pistons. Like they're the most owned team on DraftKings, and by all accounts, I don't disagree with that at all. Because Asar Thompson looks great. Now, don't get me wrong, I am lighter on Cade. But I am right with the field. 239% ownership is coming into Detroit, and I have 236. Yeah, I prefer that Beasley Jokic side, Steven. I'm more than 2xing Jokic, which obviously we're going to get to. And yeah, like I don't think you could have any conversation about Ron Holland or anything. The only thing, and Rough Buff Fire just sort of mentioned it, we do have to be aware that Isaiah Stewart is not healthy. Now, how not healthy is up in the air. Because technically, he's questionable for today. In theory, he could not play. Now, that's where things will start to get really weird. Because I don't think Paul Reed would just get the center minutes. I think they'd go small. So on the off chance that Isaiah Stewart happens to be out, then I do think that you look at Paul Reed as a value option. Like he's not gonna be not owned. But then I think guys like Asar Thompson and Malik Beasley, I think Simone Fontecchio probably plays at that point. But like I think Asar Thompson's minutes are much more interesting if Isaiah Stewart happens to be out today. And again, he left game 1 early. So questionable tag today. This is real. Very real. Actually, let me finish that soda off. That's the way to start the day. Little Detroit basketball. The Knicks are up next, and they are my least owned team. But boy, oh boy, were they weird in game 1. Let's talk through the Knicks. Because the Knicks have the number 1 guy of the day. They got Jalen Brunson. 8,300 for Jalen Brunson, point guard only. 1.15 fantasy points per minute, 47% optimal, 41% owned. You got 41 minutes out of Brunson in game 1. He played the entire first quarter, played the entire third quarter. I fully expect to get the same rotations out of Brunson here. He's too cheap. 8,300 is not the correct price tag for Brunson if he's playing 40 minutes a night. So way over the field on Brunson. He's in 65% of my stuff. He ranks number 1 in our boom bust tool. To me, very clearly, your top guy on DraftKings. Probably the same story on FanDuel. 8,800. So $500 more expensive, but 51% optimal. Ranks second behind Tobias Harris. 46% owned. No matter what site you're playing on today, you're going to a lot of Jalen Brunson. I don't think anybody's going to be mad about that. Dropped 34 in the opener. Now, my second favorite guy here is Josh Hart. Now, Josh Hart had a weird one because he only played 29 and a half minutes. But Josh Hart picked up 2 fouls in the first quarter, only played 4.5 minutes. Came in the second quarter, played 2.5 minutes, picked up another foul, missed the rest of the quarter. He played essentially the entire second half because he didn't pick up any fouls in the third quarter. At that point, they let him loose. So I got him in for 37 minutes. I think Josh Hart could play 42 to 44 today, and that wouldn't be surprising. I think there's massive upside in Josh Hart's minutes based on where we have them right now, which is 37. 6,900, small forward, power forward eligible, ranked 6th already. And again, I think that he could play more. So I have 34% of him. Now, I'm only with the field, but he is my second most exposed Nick. Same exact story on FanDuel. More expensive, doesn't matter. I think Brunson and Hart are your 2 best Knicks. Now, we can get to Mikal Bridges. Mikal Bridges, 5,700, 25% optimal, 25% owned, shooting guard, small forward eligible. He played 29 minutes in the first game. Normal rotation in the first half, though, did get into a little bit of foul trouble, picked up 3 fouls, played the entire third quarter, and then they didn't put him back in because the Knicks went on the 21-0 run, so they let Cam Payne soak it up. That is not something that's going to happen all that frequently. So I still think we should be expecting Mikal Bridges to play 34, 35, 36, upwards of 40 minutes. I don't have a lot of him. I am a little nervous that he's going to recover from game 1's light minutes and have a big game today. Now, Anunoby did get the big minutes. He played 44 minutes in the opener. Now, I don't expect him to play 44, but we know that he can. Got him in for 39.5, 6,800, small forward, power forward eligible, 25% owned, optimal, 29% owned. I'm under the field. So I am way under the field on Bridges, way under the field on Anunoby, and oddly light on Karl Anthony Towns. Now, this is the guy I want to talk about. 9,300, center only, 25% optimal, 25% owned. Towns played 39 minutes in game 1. And that's what I expect. I expect that kind of playing time out of Towns. However, his points props and rebounding props today do not support projecting him for 39 minutes. I got him in for 36 right now. And I'm going to be honest. If I had to do anything, I would take him to 35 long before I took him to 37. So I'm a little lighter on Karl Anthony Towns here, but I do want the caveat to be I think he could play 40. So Bridges, Anunoby, and Towns, they do make me a little nervous. They're all about 30% owned, and I do think that they are viable plays today, but I'm nervous about every one of them in different ways. We did see Mitchell Robinson play 18 minutes. He did not play in the second half. When he was out there, it did not go well. He did play alongside Karl Anthony Towns for most of the second quarter. There's a decent chance that that is because of Josh Hart. He's a perfectly reasonable value option that you don't want a ton of. They didn't really go to much Miles McBride. I'm not all that enamored there. They didn't play Landry Shamet in the second half. Cam Payne got 15 minutes, I think only because they broke that one open and went on a run. I don't think we could really expect that. I think you're mostly just focused on the Knicks starting 5 and a little bit of Mitchell Robinson. That's about it. And it's essentially the same story on FanDuel, other than Anunoby looks a little bit better on FanDuel than he does on DraftKings. But Towns is a lot more expensive. That's tougher to get to. What do you guys like from the Knicks today? I'm curious. Because the Knicks are a lot easier to talk about than Detroit. We know they're starting 5. So what do you guys like? And also hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Don't forget, you can sign up for the Portfolio EV tool. If you're in chat right now, it's the second most recent link from Nightbot. 7-day free trial if you've never signed up before. It always exists. You can get odd shopper ratings, Portfolio EV scores. You'll get expected win rates, odds boost calculators, mass entry bets, parlay builders. You'll do the same thing for pick'em sites. If you guys want that 7-day free trial, that link is in the description. It's also in chat. All right, John C says everybody but Hart and McBride. Okay, Hart, interesting. Cat as a pivot from expensive Jokic. Yeah, Jorge, I want to go the other way. I want all the Jokic. Rough Buff wants OG. Coach Chris wants Brunson, OG, and Cat. BD says OG for sure and Brunson. Yeah, the wings are tricky. Getting Bridges, Hart, and Anunoby right is always tough. You know, we're talking about 3 guys that are all 30% owned. Like I said, I prefer Hart, but I could see it going any other way. I mean, we got to remember, Josh Hart was 8K earlier this year. And, like, not in a situation where, like, 4 dudes were out. I think that $6,900 price tag on Josh Hart is nice. Like, real nice. That's our first game. Let's see what we have on the from a bets perspective over there on Odd Shopper for the New York Knicks. We have Josh Hart under 9.5 rebounds, 3.2% EV on DraftKings. Towns under 1, you can't see it on the screen, but under 1.5 threes made, 2.3% EV on NoVig. So that's game 1. Pistons Knicks tips off at 7:30. Clippers Nuggets tips off at 10 o'clock. Before we get to Clippers Nuggets, obviously that was the game of the weekend. Overtime one. Russell Westbrook, the hero. Let's hit schedule for the rest of the day. Lofty will have the MLB strategy show immediately after this one at 11 a.m. Eric and Spags will be on Live Before Lock Baseball Edition at 5:30. I will be with Greg for NBA Live Before Lock. Been solo all week. Greg back from vacation. He will be with me at 6:30, from 6:30 to 7:30. And then Greg will be joining me on playback at 7:30 to watch Pistons Knicks. You're going to want to be on the playback stream tonight, guys. We've got an announcement for you guys, and I think you'll like it. I think you're going to be very interested in what we have to say for playback. Going to help you out on playback, that's for sure. Oh, let's stretch it out. Shoulders are tight. Oh, there it is. Let's break down Clippers Nuggets. Here we go. So, obviously, Clippers lost the opener, but they are the favorite here today. Now, this one went to OT. We got massive minutes. Ownership is pretty similar across both sites. Your highest ranked guy on DraftKings for the Clippers is Chris Dunn. Dunn played 31 minutes overall, 26 minutes in regulation. All 5 starters played essentially the entire overtime. So Dunn played 26 in regulation. We got him in for 26 right now. Point guard, shooting guard eligible, 3,800, 35% optimal, 30% owned. 1, they want him out there to guard Jamal Murray. 2, you get an MPE and a sub 4K price tag for a starter. 3, I think Chris Dunn really helps you get to Nikola Jokic. So I'm a big fan of Chris Dunn. He's my second most exposed Clipper right now. Like I said, top 10 in the boom bust tool, 44% of my lineups. My most exposed Clipper, however, is Nick Batum. 3,100 power forward center eligible. Now, obviously not a great per minute guy. We saw Batum get 24 minutes. That's all in regulation. And I would not be surprised at all if they start to lean on him a little bit more in this series. 34% optimal for Batum, 29% owned. Batum in 56% of my lineups. Again, Nick Batum, much like Chris Dunn, that low salary is affording me Nikola Jokic. So I have a lot of Batum. I have a lot of Dunn. I'm using the Clippers for the low dollar value. Now, I'm not getting James Harden. 9,500 on DraftKings, point guard only, had an awesome day in the opener. Played 43 minutes, so he played 38 in regulation. Got him in for 39.5. Had 32 real points. Not a big believer in James Harden in this scenario in game 2, coming off a game where he scored well in Denver again. So he's 30% owned. I only have 12%. I'm really happy about that. Now, he does grade out fine, but I'd rather get to Cade at 9,100. I certainly prefer Jalen Brunson at the same position at 8,300. So I don't have a ton of Harden, and I'm okay with that. Norm Powell's just a guy. Mid-tier play, 20 to 25%. Totally fine. Kawhi Leonard's 8,500. Kawhi played about 36 minutes in regulation. We got him in for 37. 20% optimal, 20% owned. 1.3 fantasy points per minute. Got to be honest, not that interesting to me. Jalen Brunson projects better, $200 cheaper. I think I would rather pay $600 more and get to Cade. Kawhi, not a guy that typically blows up. He's such a 28, 6, and 6 guy, which could get you there on a 2-gamer for sure, but 8,500 feels a little expensive for Kawhi Leonard. And then for Zoo, 7,700, he played 34 minutes in regulation. They're going to try to put him out there for as many minutes as he can handle, the same time as Jokic. 29% optimal, 29% owned. He's just a solid option. Figuring out what they do on the bench is going to be tricky. Derek Jones Jr. played 24 minutes in regulation. I got him in for 21.5. He's in 38% of my stuff, 3,200 small forward, power forward eligible. This is basically the same situation as Chris Dunn and Nick Batum. I'm going to be using Derek Jones Jr. as low dollar value to help me get to Nikola Jokic. And then it feels like Bogdan Bogdanovic might play in this game a little bit more than he did last time out. 3,300 shooting guard, small forward eligible. He's 14% owned. I only have 6. It makes me a little nervous. Hasn't looked good this year. And then Ben Simmons was the direct backup to Zoo. I don't think he's going to play any minutes other than whatever Zubats can't play. The fact that he's center only on DraftKings makes it kind of tough. On FanDuel, Ben Simmons is point guard only. Much easier to roster. 17% owned. So Ben Simmons on DraftKings, don't like him. Ben Simmons on FanDuel, do like him. The rest of these guys are not all that different. Harden's price is basically the same. Chris Dunn's a bit more expensive, but still works as a value. Norm Powell's basically the same. Kawhi is basically the same. Zubats is a little bit more expensive, but it doesn't matter. Nick Batum doesn't have the same positionality, but 3,900 small forward on FanDuel is also pretty good value. If we want to see any Clippers bets, we don't have a single one available right now. Nothing out there. So we've made it through Detroit. We've made it through the Knicks. And we've made it through the Clippers. Now we will get to the Denver Nuggets. This is the team that I guess I'm technically most over the field on. Denver obviously picked up the win in game 1 off of the Russell Westbrook heroics. So there are only 6 guys that you could roster from Denver. 6.5 if you play on FanDuel. Two of them are massive plays on both sites. The first guy I want to talk about is Jokic. 11,500 center only on DraftKings. 1.57 fantasy points per minute. Ranks 4th. 38% optimal, 32% owned. He's in 80% of my lineups. I don't think it's that hard to find enough salary to pay up for him. And he projects in a completely different manner than everybody else. I've got him 15 fantasy points ahead of anybody else. If he scores his projection today, you're going to need him. If Nikola Jokic scores 65 fantasy points, you absolutely need him at 11.5. You probably need him for less than that. So he's in 80% of my lineups. I don't expect that to change. To me, he's my favorite guy on the slate. I want all of the Jokic. They don't want to drop a game at home. You know, getting up 2-0 would be massive. You know, he played huge minutes in the opener. Played 46 total, 41 in regulation. Yeah, I want all the Jokic. I also want all the Christian Brown. 5,100 shooting guard, small forward eligible. Brown played 45 minutes overall, 40 minutes in regulation. Doesn't seem to be leaving the floor. 38 minutes is our projection for today. Guard forward eligibility. 47% optimal, 44% owned in 55% of my lineups. It's the position, it's the price, it's the playing time. He's just really easy to get to. So Jokic is 1 for me. Christian Brown is 2. Aaron Gordon would be 3. Aaron Gordon played 46 minutes, so 41 minutes in regulation. Got him in for 38 here. 5,900 power forward center eligible. He's the backup center when Jokic is off the floor. 33% optimal, 35% owned. Now, I didn't get a ton. I only had 29%, but that does not mean that I don't like him. He's in our top 10. You should be getting to a bunch of Aaron Gordon. Michael Porter Jr., though, is a guy that could be really curious. Michael Porter Jr. played 26 and a half minutes in game 1. Played normal minutes. Like, he was playing a ton in the first half. Played his normal third quarter rotation. Came in at the beginning of the fourth and then never saw the floor again. They subbed in. I mean, Russell Westbrook was on the floor, but Christian Brown subbed in for MPJ. Never came off the floor. They went with Russell Westbrook. So we have MPJ in for 29 and a half minutes right now. 12% optimal, 12% owned. I only have 1%, but Michael Porter Jr. can play 37 minutes today easily and become the most important guy on today's slate. So pay close attention to his ownership, because I'm going to like him if he's low owned, because all it takes is Michael Porter Jr. making like 4 threes in the first quarter, and he's going to be out there for 36 minutes. Similarly, Russell Westbrook is totally tied to MPJ. Westbrook played 34 and a half minutes. He played the entire overtime. So he played 29 in regulation. We got him in for 28, 58% or 5,800, 18% optimal, 17% owned. If you're not a believer in MPJ, then you're probably a much bigger believer in Russell Westbrook. And then Peyton Watson, played 14 minutes, probably plays somewhere around there. You can use him if you want to. On the FanDuel side, Jamal Murray's basically the same play on both sites. Christian Brown is awesome on both sites, but much more expensive on FanDuel. MPJ is the same on both sites. Aaron Gordon is much better on FanDuel. Much better on FanDuel. $6K on FanDuel, so only $100 more expensive. Has the power forward eligibility. 59% owned on the FanDuel side. Now, Jokic is more expensive on FanDuel by $1,000. He's 12.5 on FanDuel, only 11.5 on DraftKings. So he ranks 20th on the FanDuel end, only 17% owned. I still love him there. The gap between him and everybody else is crazy. The replacement level of center is very different. So my takeaway from Denver is play as much Jokic as you can. I know that's a hot take, everybody. playing the guy that might be the MVP. That's where we're at for this slate. 2 games up, 2 games down. Let's build some lineups. Let's get one on DraftKings, one on FanDuel. Hit that like button if you haven't done it yet. Here we go, folks. Large contest, 35% to first. All right, here we go. Well, I guess I got to get my boy Jokic in. Number 1 value of the day. Kind of want to get Zubats in, too. Or Towns, for that matter. Or Duran, for that matter. Center ownership's wild. Josh Hart has to go in. Aaron Gordon has to go in. Chris Dunn, I think, has to go in. And then Asar Thompson. Finished up with Brunson, Schroeder, and Christian Brown. I think we got this one right out of the gate. I think this is going to be like 81%. 81.2. 70.2. We'll take that all day, baby. One and done. Single bullet on DraftKings. We hit the 60% ROI. Can we throw the perfect game? 1 shot DraftKings, 1 shot FanDuel. All right, Jokic goes in. All right, if Jokic is in, next up is... God, I wish I could get to Cade. I guess Asar Thompson has to go in. Aaron Gordon has to go in. Tobias Harris has to go in. Man, this is going to get dicey. Nick Batum, Tim Hardaway. I'm not confident here. Brunson, Ben Simmons, and Josh Hart. I think this is going to be like in the 30s. 34.7. Am I underselling myself? $71.2. Pitched the perfect game. Not to mention, better than the DraftKings lineup. Look at that. 2 over 60% right out of the gate. What a way to start. Well, guys, that's what we've got for today. We only got 2 games. There's only so much we can say. Greg and I will be breaking it down later tonight. Tomorrow, we have a 3-gamer, which is much better. We got Bucks Pacers at 7. We've got Grizzlies Thunder, although they should boot the Grizzlies clean out of the playoffs after that one yesterday. And then Wolves Lakers once again tomorrow night at 10. Guys, thank you for being here. Please hit the like button. Please sign up for Stokastic using the link in the description. Sign up for the Portfolio EV tool. Also, 7-day free trial. Link in the description. Good luck, everybody. I'll talk to you.